They really don't like this woman. She's a good communicator. And so Joy Behar just offered her analysis on why Leavitt was picked for the role.
Bang, Rowan, I couldn't do that at 27. No nonsense, straight to the point, courage, detail.
Oh, you won't believe the drama that's been stirring up lately between Donald Trump's new White House press secretary, Karoline Leavitt, and the hosts of The View. It's the kind of juicy conflict that feels too wild to be real. Yet, here we are. If you thought politics and daytime television couldn't collide in the most chaotic way possible, this story might just prove you wrong. So, grab your popcorn, because the fallout from this showdown is nothing short of explosive.
Speaking of Donald Trump, I'm stunned and amazed by his new White House spokeswoman today. She's actually the youngest ever in that job.
Let's set the stage. Karoline Leavitt, only 27 years old, recently made history by becoming the youngest person ever to serve as White House press secretary under Trump. That alone is enough to make headlines, but it's what happened during her first press briefing that really got people talking. Leavitt didn't just stick to the usual talking points. She walked into that room with a mission to shake things up. She announced sweeping changes to how the media would interact with the Trump administration, opening up access to podcasters, influencers, and independent journalists who've long felt excluded from the Washington elite. She even took a direct shot at legacy media, accusing them of losing the trust of everyday Americans. Bold, right? You'd think the focus would be on her policy changes or her historic role, but nope. Some people couldn't help but make it personal. Enter The View, the daytime talk show that's no stranger to controversy. Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar, two of the most outspoken co-hosts, wasted no time tearing into Leavitt, and let's just say their comments went straight for the jugular. First, Whoopi took offense to Leavitt's remarks about no more wokeness in federal funding. Whoopi, visibly frustrated, claimed that without the very wokeness Leavitt criticized, she wouldn't even have her job.
Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you.
She launched into a passionate monologue about how wokeness was responsible for opening doors for women, doors that, in her opinion, Leavitt had conveniently walked through.
Without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table.
But it was Joy Behar who really fired up the internet. In what many are calling a blatantly inappropriate remark, Joy suggested that Leavitt only got her job because of her looks, saying, "She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is." Ouch. That comment didn't just sting, it set social media on fire. Critics from all sides were quick to accuse Behar of sexism, hypocrisy, and an overall lack of professionalism. After all, isn't this the same show that prides itself on supporting women in leadership? The backlash was swift, with supporters of Leavitt pointing out her impressive resume, which includes working under Karoline Leavitt in the first Trump administration, serving as communications director for Elise Stefanik, and even running for Congress in New Hampshire. Lover or hater, it's hard to argue that she hasn't earned her place at the podium.
Karoline Leavitt, she's just 27 years old. But boy, was she giving it to the Trump haters in her first White House briefing.
What made Joy's comments even more shocking was the context in which they were delivered. This wasn't some off-the-cuff remark in a heated moment. It was a calculated jab, aired on national television, leaving viewers stunned. Many pointed out that the comment wasn't just disrespectful to Leavitt, but also undermined the hard-fought progress women have made in professional spaces. Critics online were quick to call out the hypocrisy, with one user tweeting, "Joy Behar just showed us all that she doesn't truly believe in supporting women, just the ones who agree with her politics." The backlash wasn't limited to social media either. Several prominent conservative commentators jumped into the fray, using the incident to highlight what they see as the double standards in mainstream media.
Karoline Leavitt is the press secretary at the White House, doing a great job. Such a great job that the ladies of The View feel the green monster coming upon them.
Adding fuel to the fire, former Trump press secretary Karoline Leavitt weighed in on the controversy during a recent television appearance, defending Leavitt and calling out The View's hosts for their remarks. It's appalling to see a young, talented woman like Karoline being reduced to her appearance by people who claim to champion equality, McEnany said. This is exactly why so many Americans distrust the media. They're more interested in tearing down conservatives than engaging in meaningful dialogue. McEnany's comments quickly went viral, further intensifying the already heated debate. Supporters of Leavitt praised McEnany for stepping up, while critics accused her of using the moment to score political points. Behind the scenes, rumors swirled that ABC executives were not pleased with how the situation was spiraling out of control. According to insiders, network higher-ups had reportedly reached out to The View's producers, urging them to address the controversy in a way that wouldn't alienate viewers. There's even speculation that the co-hosts were asked to tone down their rhetoric moving forward, though it remains unclear whether such a directive will have any lasting impact. After all, The View thrives on its fiery debates and controversial moments, and for better or worse, that's part of what keeps the audience tuning in.
And Karoline Leavitt isn't just making headlines, she's also rewriting history. At 27, the New Hampshire native has become the youngest White House press secretary ever.
Of course, the drama didn't stop there. Rumors started swirling that the fallout from this episode of The View had reached Trump himself. And if there's one thing we know about Trump, it's that he's not one to let a slight go unanswered. Insiders are speculating that Trump is seriously considering pulling the plug on The View entirely, calling it a show that perpetuates bias and disrespects women who don't align with its political views. While canceling an entire show might seem extreme, it wouldn't be the first time Trump has clashed with mainstream media outlets. According to some reports, Trump's inner circle is already discussing ways to hit back, potentially by encouraging conservative advertisers to withdraw their support from the show. If true, it could spell major trouble for The View's bottom line. Meanwhile, the controversy has sparked a larger conversation about the role of media in politics and the double standards that often come into play. Supporters of Leavitt argue that if a conservative man had made similar remarks about a liberal woman, the outcry would have been deafening. Instead, critics say, Behar's comments are being brushed off as just another example of The View's partisan antics. And let's not forget the irony of Whoopi Goldberg criticizing Leavitt's lack of understanding about wokeness while simultaneously dismissing her accomplishments as somehow illegitimate. Is it really empowering to tear down another woman based on personal biases? It's a question that's left viewers divided, with some defending The View's hosts and others calling for accountability.
But even factoring in that she's a nice-looking lady, I love that the libs' attacks on conservatives right now are that we're hot and cool.
But wait, it gets messier. Rumor has it that behind the scenes, The View's producers are scrambling to do damage control. Sources close to the show claim that there have been discussions about issuing an unofficial apology to Leavitt, though nothing has been confirmed. Apparently, the backlash has been so intense that even some of the show's more liberal fans are questioning the host's behavior. And if that weren't enough, there are whispers that certain advertisers are reconsidering their partnerships with the show, fearing that the controversy might tarnish their brand. Could this be the beginning of the end for The View as we know it? It's too soon to say, but the tension is definitely palpable. Meanwhile, Leavitt seems to be taking all of this in stride. In the days following her first press briefing, she's doubled down on her commitment to opening up the White House press room to new voices, insisting that the changes are necessary to rebuild trust with the American people. She's also been vocal about her faith, addressing criticisms from those who've questioned her decision to wear a gold cross during her briefings. "My Christian faith is a huge part of my life," she told one outlet, adding that it's the foundation of her conservative values. For her supporters, this unapologetic stance is precisely why she's such a polarizing figure and why she's unlikely to back down anytime soon.
A staunch Trump loyalist and unapologetic Gen Z conservative, Leavitt's sharp rhetoric and bold social media presence have already made waves.
As for The View, the show is no stranger to controversy, but this particular incident seems to have struck a nerve in a way that few others have. Whether it's the timing, the players involved, or the sheer audacity of the comments made, it's clear that this story isn't going away anytime soon. Will the hosts of The View address the backlash head-on, or will they double down on their criticisms of Leavitt? And how will Trump respond to what many see as a direct attack on one of his closest allies? One thing's for sure, the battle lines have been drawn and the fallout is far from over. And here's the million-dollar question. Does this controversy mark a turning point in how media treats women in power, or is it just another example of the partisan divide fueling unnecessary drama? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Until next time, stay tuned for more updates, because if this story has taught us anything, it's that politics and daytime television make for one wild ride.